It is a lovely Saturday evening here in Durham, North Carolina, and this is the Whiskey
Florida
Talk
City.
Podcast. I know that, y'all won't be listening to this, but I just wanted to give y'all a time frame of when we decided to record this. As always, it is your boy Snafu, aka Charles, aka, I don't know, Mr. Mulatto, and with me as always is my co-host DeAndre.
Juicy Dre in the building, yes sir.
And for like the third or fourth episode in a row, but well, all of them haven't been put up yet. But for the third or fourth time in a row, we have Rob and Tay with us.
Yo, it's your boy Tay.
Yeah,
Rob.
You know he has to make this grand ass entrance every time. He always Rob is like one of the most reserved people just in regular life, but then when he gets up here, she's like, yeah, like this nigga from New York or some shit like that.
This is where we get the real Rob.
He has to make a grand ass entrance.
He was quiet for the past 10 minutes.
I'm here. He's been saving it up.
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm ready. What's up?
Let's go.
Oh shit.
Well, I know
what's
it's not about to go my way today.
Well, so speaking of things not going your way today, just mere half hour-ish ago, there's a new champion of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Well, before that, actually, I want to give a shout-out to my former university, North Carolina Central, for being three-peat MEAC champs today, beating Norfolk State. What's up? Going to the big dance to losing the first round. Hey,
give our boys some hope.
Hope poisons men's souls. Hope poisons men's souls.
True.
What was that quote that you were telling me earlier, Dre, about Coach Moten? He was like, yeah, every coach says, yeah, I want the best, next one up, da-da-da-da, but that's not the case. He's like, oh, he didn't want to play Duke because Zion Williamson would be like him playing against his 6-year-old.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a real ass shit. Yeah, coaches will be like, yeah, we want the best, but then there's times where you're just like, I don't know if I really want that. Let's ease our way into this tournament and see what happens after that. But speaking of Duke, they are the 2018-2019 ACC Conference champs. The fuck niggas from Charlottesville won the regular season, but that don't matter.
Excuse me. Shared by UNC.
Anyway,
Shared by UNC.
Okay, so UVA of Virginia and then the UVA of North Carolina share the championship. Whoop-de-doo. Congratulations. I'm proud of y'all.
Shout out to Duke. Big dog's gonna eat. The little puppy's gonna sit on the porch. That's for you UNC fans.
What big dog? Please tell me where the big dog's at.
The champs. Y'all thought Zion was gonna come back healthy and my boy come back balling.
And won by 1 point.
Don't matter. 1 point is all we need.
Yes, and to be fair, 1 point is all you need to win. It's not like gymnastics where you have like partial points, where you can have like 98.67 and the other team would have like 95 points.
See, I just have a question, because UNC fans, you say, yeah, Duke, I know we said in the beginning that we didn't have Zion. Second game around.
Why did you say it like that? Zion. Zion.
I have no idea. So, now that we have him, when we beat him, y'all just saying 1 point. You beat us by 1 point.
Rob, why you hiding?
I'm getting them. Here.
Robin hiding.
Anyway,
all day.
like I said, I'm being like I said, Duke is trash off rip.
How are we trash?
Can't tell me you ain't. You can't shoot a damn three worth shit. Excuse me. Can't shoot one.
Language.
Only thing y'all got is Zion, and y'all beat us by 1 point.
It's that 1 point.
One, like you said, win is a win. Win is a win.
You let that 1 point just tarnish y'all.
Oh,
And I respect.
We still swept y'all.
Yeah,
I do. I respect
But in
Coach,
the
Coach
ACC
Terry
tournament, we
and
swept
that little
y'all.
squad.
Overall, we played y'all 3 times this year, and we beat y'all 2 out of the 3. I think we're still winning.
Haters gonna hate.
I'm good.
Ball's gonna ball.
Ball's
Nobody's
gonna
gonna
ball.
know.
I already know who got the better team. Y'all just got the better player.
Haters gonna hate.
If you say
Love
so.
is gonna love. I
Okay.
don't even want none of the above.
We'll see. But shout out to Zion, because, you know, he came
Drip,
back
drip,
healthier
drip.
than ever. Him and his Kyries.
Just him, man. Him and his colleagues.
His
He
Kyries.
went down. Nobody else stepped up.
He said Kylie.
Kyrie. Rob called
Oh,
him.
Kyrie's.
You know, Rob gonna hate anybody that's associated with Duke.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
true fandom is. That's how true fandom is.
Yep.
You can respect somebody that went to the rival school, but you don't have to like them.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll never see me with a pair of Kyrie's on.
Yo, my player on
Fuck the
2K got
Barber
him
twins.
Uh-uh.
on.
I got some foams on.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Fuck Keith Miller.
I'll put some Jordans on any day, though.
Of course you put some Jordans on.
Yeah. Let's talk here for
Aside
life,
from all
death.
that, we'll see who win the big one.
Y'all not gonna make it.
Okay.
Zion his stamina cannot make it.
His stamina ain't gonna make it.
Nope.
Who's stopping him?
UNC gonna stop it next time.
Okay. They didn't stop him last night.
So
They should put Duke. They should put Zion.
Well, you know, to be fair, there's a meme saying, my name is Zion Williams, and this is Duke Blue Devils.
y'all ain't nothing without David Ruffin.
Oh, man. Well, we shall see. Shout out to Duke, though. We did get news about Westbrook today. If, Chaz, you want to enlighten us about that?
Trash. That nigga played like trash today. That nigga. No, I mean, I don't really got much to say. I just saw his stat line was like he scored like 7 points. He went 2 of like 16 from the field. He went over 7 from 3-point land, and he got a technical, so he has a 1-game suspension. It's arguably one of his worst career games, but you know, life comes for us all. We can't all be the best every day, so.
Man, you seen the tech? He charged it. Oh boy. Thomas.
I didn't see it.
Well, I mean, but you know, everybody knows that Russell's he's a very passionate player. He plays with a lot of fire, a lot of energy.
This ain't football though. It's basketball.
Okay,
Still
that
can have
doesn't mean
passion.
that you can't play with that fire.
But this is a 16.
Michael Jordan
16.
Michael Jordan played with a fire. His fire was just to embarrass everybody in front of their entire family.
Michael Jordan has his 16th technical foul of the season. That's
Yeah,
why
but
they
he played in a different era.
Yeah, true that.
You could
Well,
literally
hold on,
you could
wait,
literally
I'm about to say,
you can literally throw punches on the court and it's just like, all right, that's a foul. And
was
it's like,
like
cool.
hockey.
That's true.
Yeah, you get like a 2-minute penalty for fighting, or 5-minute max. Just go sit on the bench for a few minutes, cool down. That's what they did. They put him in the penalty box. I don't know why the NBA had a penalty box for like 15 years, but it was really weird. But they did it.
The penalty box.
Now you can just look at the ref the wrong way and get a tech.
I don't know what high stick he was in the NBA, but they called it. It didn't make sense to me. But hey, you know, things happen, and oh god, things happen, and you know, you just kind of go with the punches.
Yeah, it's life.
Yeah. He'd be alright. He'd be bad.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody has bad days.
Yeah, today was just a bad day.
So you had a bad day.
Hey, what's
Take
your
one
input on that?
down. See a sad song and you turn it around. And you tell you don't go.
When did that song come out?
I don't know. A while ago.
Yeah.
Cause you had a bad day. You had a bad day.
Oh, I guess speaking of songs, I know I talked to you and Rob about it, Chaz. I guess we'll get Tay's opinion. Tay, I don't know if you listen to Ariana Grande or not, but she put an album out 6, months apart from
Thank
each
you.
other.
Next.
And that's the actual album. I didn't know that was the actual name of the album.
I didn't either. I was just listening to what you were telling me.
And I know Anderson .Paak is dropping an album 6 months after he drops an
Yes,
album.
Lord.
They said that's the R&B version of it.
The R&B version of what, Oxnard? Am I saying that
Yeah.
right?
Oxnard, yeah.
Okay.
I actually would really like to hear what that would be as far as a project. Like, I want to see what that is as a concept.
An R&B?
Well, I mean, because it's not like it's rap. It's a rap album, but it's not like, you know, like rap, just because that's not his style necessarily.
But I could see him doing R&B. It fits him if he ever wanted
Well,
to
yeah, I
cross
mean,
over into
he if you watch, like, he had a Tiny Desk. He did like a Tiny Desk concert, and I mean, he's not, but like, he's 1.5 steps away from being R&B.
That's a good way of putting it. That's yeah.
Malibu was definitely one of my favorite albums from him. And I
Yeah,
hope
Malibu's
this
dope.
album, I hope this album be
Was that
just
his
up
first
to that point. No, I think it was. I don't know. Was that his first official album?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Sure.
I have to go back and look at his discography.
Yeah.
I know Malibu
I'll
was
look
the
it up
first
now
time I
while we're talking.
actually heard about, Anderson. I like him. He's okay. Rob, are you familiar with him? I know you like other type of music.
Of who? What's his name again?
See? Anderson .Paak.
Anderson .Paak.
Anderson .Paak.
We had to expand your horizons, Rob. Rob likes to listen, ladies and gentlemen, to like the baby.
Apparently, I think Venice might have been his first.
Yeah.
Venice.
Venice.
Venice came out before Malibu.
Yo, I don't know who y'all talking about.
Ooh,
Yeah.
champagne.
Yeah,
What
he
happened?
dropped
What
Malibu, and then he dropped Yes Lord, and then
Yes,
this
Lord.
year
Well,
he dropped Oxnard, and now he about to drop another one.
6 months later. So, Tay, you feel like how you feel about an album dropping? Somebody dropping an album every 6 months? Like, do you feel like that's oversaturating it, or?
I mean, for certain artists, I can get why, but usually with most artists, we don't even get albums like 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah. So, like, I guess that, like, I don't know how that would play out. Like, let's say that becomes the thing, then, like, dropping an album, every 6 months, and everyone starts.
Well, I mean, if you want to be fair, like, if we go back to just a couple years ago, like, Big Chris, one of my favorite artists. So I'm just going to use him as an example right now. What Crit would do is he would drop a mixtape. The next year would be an album, right?
Well, that makes
The
sense.
year after that is a mixtape. The next year's so he's dropping an album every 2 years. But on his off years, he was giving us a mixtape. So an album every 6 months is honestly we've been kind of like the industry almost seems like it's been working towards that.
Yeah.
But in a full-fledged album, that's a hard sell, especially with people not buying albums these days.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think about the last album I bought personally. The last album I bought personally, like a physical. I know Paper Trail was one of the last albums that I had a physical copy of.
That's a great
Graduation was one of the last albums I actually bought a physical copy of. And now, even on like a streaming service or like iTunes, because remember that's what pretty much killed the industry, like the record, like the brick and mortar record store industry, was iTunes being able to sell you stuff. I can't even remember the last album I bought on iTunes. So I mean, honestly, I get releasing an album every. Like we were Dre and Rob when we were talking before, just to put it on wax now. Releasing an album every 6 months is gonna keep people relevant. it doesn't make sense to us right now, like when we think about it, but it keeps an artist relevant.
That's true. So how do you think
Because
somebody like a J. Cole or Kendrick that drops every 2 years still, how you think they'll fare with it?
well, so this is the thing. Those two artists that you named have different fan bases than the people who are probably going to be putting out these albums every 6 months. Now, the two, examples that you used are, they're, all right fan bases, but they're not like the most solid folk right now. When you talk about Kendrick and Cole, we know that they put out different stuff. Like, they don't put out, just radio hits. They don't do all the singles and stuff like that. You had 2014 Forest Hills Drive, and then what was the album after that? Was that, what was it? It wasn't For Your Eyes Only. It was it For Your Eyes Only?
It was
For Your Eyes Only was the one after that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that album was, we're used to that. And then think about it. When was the last Kendrick project that dropped?
Damn, 2017.
Exactly. And it's 2019 now, right?
That's true.
Now, of course, we all want it because these are our favorite artists. We're like, yo, when's that new shit dropping? When's that new shit dropping? Because that's what we want. We want something new, but we also understand that they have a different way of going about their craft. They're not one of the like artists that just goes into the studio, makes 40 songs in a session, like in an 8-hour session. They all sound the same, and it's like, all right, cool, I got 2 albums worth, I'll release them whenever. Because I saw I saw a tweet today that said like one of these new artists had like 400 unreleased songs, and I was like,
400.
okay, yeah,
That's a lot.
it was
And I bet
who
they
was
all
it?
sound the same.
Exactly, it was like one of the mumble rap folk, and I was like, yeah, so they all sound the same, cool. I was like, so they literally they probably paid for like 10 hours of studio time, right?
Just went ham.
Recorded 100 songs, and I was like, all right, cool, let's just put these all in the vault.
Then they take the rest of the year off.
It's like, all right, cool. It's like, hit me with that beat. All right, cool. Take the bass out of it. All right, we got a new song. It's like, I don't think you understand how this works. Hey, yo, take that beat, add some snare to it. Yeah, new song. No, you really don't understand how this works.
It be like that sometimes.
But that's the thing. I think honestly, it's not, it comes down to the artist, but it comes down more to the fans. Because like we talked about earlier, people don't like to sit with shit anymore. People will get an album, and then 3 weeks later they're like, yo, where's the new stuff? Where's the new stuff? It's like, fam, I just gave you 16 new tracks.
That's true.
Like 3 weeks ago. How have you
all so fast?
How do you understand what I was trying to say in this? Yeah, I saw a YouTube video on what you were trying to say. Just give me a new album. It's like, okay, but that's not how they do things. So then there's the artists that are like, no, I have to do it on my process. This is gonna go by my rules. Y'all like what I do, so this is how it's gonna work. And then there's people who are just like, all right, cool. You want new stuff? Here's new stuff. So honestly, I think just going back to the original question of, is this going to be a new trend? I think for the artists that are just coming out, or artists with those fully established fan bases, that's going to be a new thing, or it's going to be like the thing they have to do. Because in order to keep people interested, you got to keep their attention. People who are established don't have to keep people's attention because there's going to be people who are always going to ride for them.
That's true. I think someone like Drake will take advantage of this because
Drake needs to spend time with his son.
But yeah.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw a funny ass tweet. It said, I think the first tweet was from like Bossip or something like that. It said Drake's spending a lot of time with his son and he's really enjoying it. And then somebody quote tweeted and said, Pusha T's bringing families together, and I died. I was weak. I was dead. He is hiding a child. Oh, good times.
Do y'all think Kanye ever put out Yandi?
What the
Yandi.
Who?
fuck is that?
It's this album that he keeps talking about. Yandi.
Does it have to do with that video where he has a choir behind him and he's on the piano?
Ooh,
Does it have anything to do with that?
It probably does.
Oh fuck. Kanye, you my nigga, man. I fucks with you. I've been fucking with you for a long time.
Well, it's
But
more than
I don't
it's,
know, man.
so. See, it's he puts those videos out apparently every Sunday. I don't know where the hell he's at. Somewhere in Africa, I assume.
He's clearly stealing somebody's Sunday choir every Sunday, and there are churches who don't have songs. There are a lot of upset deacons and deaconesses that are like, "Where's our choir?"
Can y'all imagine? Imagine Kanye West directing the choir at your church.
That's coming to you. Like service starts at 10:30. He walks in at 10:45. He's like, "I need the choir." Nah, we kind of need them for service today. Nah, I'll pay you like $50,000. All right, go with them.
Ty's paid for the month.
Y'all still got to pass around the plate though. The church ain't go. We're talking about the church now. Come on. Church don't turn down free money. That's why they're tax exempt. Cha-ching.
Ooh, preach. Say it again, my brother.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
Shout out to the mega churches. Circling all those
Shout out to
hundreds
TJ.
of tens of thousands of people
Shout out to TDJ.
having fucking G5s and
Bro,
Aston
that
Martins,
nigga-
and it's like
that
the
nigga living
Lord wants
life,
me to
yeah.
have this. No, the Lord doesn't.
That nigga living life, yo. I might contemplate. I might just be like, fuck it. I'm become a patsy, yo.
Do y'all see the little, if you wake up like 3 o'clock in the morning and you roll over something on TV and it be like some little gospel channel or whatever it is.
Because God done healed you.
Yeah, and then they selling holy water. I'm like, the hell? Are you really selling holy water? Oh, it's going to help you do this and that. I'm
Have you sinned in the past 3 months? Do you question whether you're gonna be able to make it to heaven?
oh,
Well,
that's
just
crazy.
for 3 simple payments of $19.95, I can guarantee you entrance to heaven.
That's when you hit him with the sir. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to the next day, let alone heaven.
Oh, you know what? And that is a great comparison to the Dark Ages, when the Catholic Church was what were they called? Basically, they would sell pieces of paper to be like, all right, cool, you get 1 sin free. Like you could basically pay your sins away, and that's what led to the Protestant Reformation, because the Catholic Church was just getting wild with stuff like that. I can't remember what they were called, but it was like, if you sinned in the past week, like you could pay to absolve your sins. So people would just run wild, do stuff, and be like, all right, cool, here's like $50 in American money. All that shit's good. And the Catholic Church was like, bet, you good. And it's like, don't think this is how God works.
Like, sir, I sin every Saturday.
Right, bruh, but that was the thing. That was the crazy part. Like, people would just be doing whatever, and then they would just like, all right, Pope, here's $200. I'm good for the rest of the month.
Damn. That's crazy.
But yeah, that's what led to the Protestant Reformation, and in essence, led to current day Christianity. But
like a lot
that
of history.
is a topic for another day. Tune into our history podcast, man. That shit crazy.
You like a lot of history.
Shit.
Yes, I do. I love history. Love history.
I love history too. What they call us, the history buffs.
Nah, that's too generic.
Too generic.
We got to come up with something cool. But yeah, but in essence, that's what's happening now. It's just like, except now the government is, well, technically speaking, church was the government, in the old days. Now our actual governments are in the church and telling them that, yeah, you can be tax exempt. And it's like, the church is bringing in like millions of dollars, right? Yeah, it's cool. I just want to, man, this is a wild ass tangent because we were talking about albums coming out 6 months apart, and now we're talking about like the Holy Church.
It happens.
But how? I like a diagram. I'm gonna have to have
where
one of
this
those
came
big.
from.
You know those like when people have conspiracy theories, so they have those big cork boards and they have pictures and pins and red lines. I'm gonna have to do that with this episode to be like, how the hell did we get from albums coming out 6 months apart to the Catholic Church in like 1300s Europe?
We did actually. I think we skipped over what Odell going to the Browns.
Oh no, we didn't. We haven't talked about that quite yet. But I mean, we want to talk about places that God forgot. Cleveland, you're up.
Cleveland.
We're talking about you. Oh, hold on. Before we start talking about it, have y'all seen those Cleveland tourism videos?
Bruh, there was one on Twitter.
Fam, those are so great. I love those videos.
Bro, there was one on
Dre,
Twitter.
have you seen them? Have you seen them?
I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna find them on YouTube and I'm gonna send them to both. I'm gonna put them in our group chat, bruh. Those videos are hilarious. They are like, those things are almost 15 years old now. Or probably about close to like, they're like 12 years old. It's Cleveland tourism videos. They're fake tourism videos for the city of Cleveland, but they are hilarious. And yeah, it just talks about how bad Cleveland is as a place, and it's like, yeah, we already knew that, but thank you for letting us fully know that. Anyway, there was a blockbuster trade this past week that the NFL did allow happen, and it was the New York Giants acquired a first round, a third round, and safety Jabril Peppers from the Cleveland Browns in exchange for who? None other than the what year was it? 2016? 2017 Madden cover athlete, Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ.
I don't know, man. How y'all think he gonna do in Cleveland?
I mean, I think that he's an outstanding wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think he'll do just fine in Cleveland. Especially now that there's some like pieces in Cleveland now, and it's not just like, all right, Tim Couch, throw to Odell Beckham. It's like, why do y'all still have Tim Couch? This doesn't make sense. So I think
I
that
still think the Steelers gonna come out second.
Get out of here.
You're also biased. You're a bit biased. You're a bit biased.
Sway?
Because you're a Steelers fan.
I believe the Browns has got a lot better. They're gonna be a better competition.
They are a better team than the Steelers.
But you're saying
It'll be close, but I can't
paper,
put the Browns over the Steelers though.
Get out of here,
paper,
Tim. Get out of here.
I just can't, bro.
I can't.
On paper, yeah, but they gotta learn how to play with each other.
They still got a young quarterback.
So
They gotta learn the chemistry of each other.
chemistry.
You know,
And it's the second year in the league, right?
It'll be Baker's second year in the league, yeah.
Didn't they do
Yeah,
better?
sophomore blues.
Didn't y'all tie the Browns last year?
Who? Yeah, the
Steelers.
first game of the season.
Yeah, and that was when they had Tyrod Taylor, that saint of a man at quarterback.
Hey,
Can beat the
shit
Browns.
happens.
And at the time, you know what was worse than losing to the Browns? It's tying the Browns.
Hey, shit happens.
Actually, in that
Still
situation,
made
it
the
was worse
playoffs.
because that's nice. That's nice.
I mean, I don't know. It's a close call, but what happens?
Browns
So
are better than
you're
the
automatically assuming. You're automatically assuming this team is gonna win the Super Bowl.
Steelers. Nah,
Oh,
we ain't
no,
say
I
nothing
didn't
about
say
the
that.
Super Bowl.
Well, not the Super Bowl.
We ain't say nothing
You
about
gotta
the
be
Super
audio
There's no way they gonna
Sir.
be better than the Steelers.
Sir.
They win the Super Bowl.
I don't know what mental gymnastics you just did to connect those dots.
See,
Only way you better than the Steelers if you better, you gonna win the Super Bowl.
so is
How?
Patriots. Wait.
Sir,
So it's
sir,
Patriots,
that is
Patriots.
your fan. That is your fan side speaking. That is your fan
Okay.
side speaking.
So if it's his fan side speaking, is the Patriots better than the Steelers?
Yes.
Okay, as long as you know. As long as you
And better than all the teams in the league. Can't name one team that ain't better than.
This shit was a sad year for the Steelers. I mean, think about it. The Patriots tied y'all. The Browns tied y'all. Y'all
The
suck.
Patriots.
I don't know. That sounds like a pretty average year. I don't see what's so sad about that.
Because now they can't just claim that they got the most Super Bowl wins of the year back. Y'all ain't alone now.
They can claim the most untainted Super Bowl victories.
But you know, I got this coworker. He's a Jets fan. He over here,
God, why?
Oh, get out of here.
Jets
He ain't even
fan.
in.
bruh. He over here literally think they gonna win the Super Bowl this year because they signed Le'Veon.
You know what? He probably pulls for the Mets as well. When baseball season rolls around, he's a Mets fan.
I don't know. He from Connecticut.
He probably pulls for the Nets too. He pulls for the Brooklyn Nets.
He from Connecticut. I can't tell.
Oh
But he a
God!
Jet.
What the hell? Oh, that's why he's from Connecticut. There's nothing in there. The one professional team they had, they lost to the Carolinas. Shout out to the Hurricanes, I guess, formerly the Hartford Whalers.
Hartford Whalers.
Word? I didn't even know that.
The Carolina Hurricanes came from Hartford. Yeah. You ever seen those I don't know how much attention y'all pay to like alternate uniforms and stuff like that, but the Hurricanes wear these like green and white and blue uniforms with a W and an H on them with a whale tail. That's to shout out the Hartford Whalers.
Oh, yeah. See, Chaz be watching his hockey.
No, I don't watch hockey. I really don't, and I hate the Carolina Hurricanes. I just know this about them.
But yeah, he's a Jets fan, and after signing Le'Veon, he thinks he's gonna win the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, you still have Sam Darnold at quarterback and an
And you
unproven
just
offensive
got-
line, and then is there a defense over there? I think there's a defense. I'm not sure though.
But he got Adam Gase as your head coach. Adam Gase.
Tell them don't write no bad checks this season.
I don't think the Jets do anything but write bad checks. They're also in the AFC East, which doesn't help their case at all, because they got to be in the same division with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another year getting raped.
He should have left. He should have left. Steelers.
Y'all weren't gonna pay him. He made
What you gonna
he
pay
made
him?
the
I
smart
won't pay
move.
him.
He made
Bro,
the
you
smart
gotta
move
be
for
like
his,
the
for his
biggest-
life.
You gotta be
Well,
like
yeah,
the
for
biggest
his life.
Steelers fan I know.
What?
You're just the biggest Steelers fan I know.
Yeah, and Bryce Harper went to the
He
Phillies.
still ain't-
You
he
act like the
still ain't
Phillies
getting
are some
nothing
kind
he
of
wanted.
juggernaut. Bruh, I'm gonna tell you, the two biggest free agent signings in the MLB this offseason went to two of the most questionably, like, which way is this boat facing teams. You know why they went to those teams? Because they had the money. And especially in the world of the NFL, where your guaranteed contracts are garbage compared to the money you can make. We're not even talking about baseball, where baseball you can get $300 million guaranteed off of a contract.
Easy.
Le'Veon Bell is like, if he signs an $80 million contract, maybe 37 of that's guaranteed. The rest of it's incentives.
That's trash.
Especially for what you have to do, comparatively speaking, baseball to football. Yeah, I'm gonna go with where whoever's paying me the most money. Yeah, I might never see the playoffs another day in my professional life. Whatever. Guess what? I got enough money to last me and the rest of my family for the rest of my days on this earth.
But it was a 10-year deal?
His?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 10? I thought it was like 8.
Long ass motherfucking time. Shit.
10
Yeah,
years,
he's not gonna make it.
330.
No, are we talking about Le'Veon Bell or are we talking about Bryce Harper?
Nah, Bryce Harper.
Huh?
Yeah, 10 year, 330.
Oh, Bryce and Manny Machado? Oh yeah, they could definitely play for another 10 years. Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely can.
I don't think
First
I
of
wanna
all,
play 10 years.
well, that's the thing.
How
So
long,
here's the
how long
thing.
you been in the league already?
Bryce has been in the league about 7 years, 6, 7 years, and I think about the same for Manny.
17 years? You go, well, I guess.
Well, think about it.
What do you say,
Well, think
100
about it.
million?
guess what? In it, you can go straight from high school to the pros in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
So if you're 18
Yeah.
on an MLB roster, right? 17 years put you at what? 35?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you can go straight to the MLB from high school?
Not anymore.
Yep.
Oh,
Not anymore. At the time when they were coming up, you could. Now you had to be, I think, you had to be in the NCAA. You had to be out of high school baseball 2 years before you can go to the pros.
okay. I was about to say
One
that's
and
dope.
done.
Now they
Oh,
changed
when
that rule not too long ago.
they did? Oh, that is stupid.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucked up.
I think the last big signing of no, because he played at San Diego State. I was about to say Strasburg. Strasburg played at San Diego State.
See,
I
we
forgot what the
doing
last.
I hate that shit because a child that turned 18 years old and just graduated high school should be able to do whatever he wants to do. And that if that's going to the pros, then let him go to the pros.
In certain situations, I agree with you. Like, yeah, in baseball, yeah, fuck it. Let that nigga go play professional baseball. If you don't make it, then he gets sent down to the minors, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's certain situations like I fully believe in. Yeah, you know what? If you're gonna play like professional football, you're not going straight from you're not going straight from high school. That is setting somebody up for failure.
Yeah.
Because at that point in professional football, you can't go from being 18 years old. There's very few people that could do it. Jadeveon Clowney, I fully believe that nigga could have gone from being in high school to being in the pros day one. Vince Wilfork's another one. But there's very few people that could do that just because they don't have it. They don't have the physical attributes to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me at 18 years old. Because you're telling me at 18 years old, you could have gone up against somebody who's 30.
Hell no.
Nah.
Who you
Strong
were
as an
doing
ox,
this
fast as a
exactly.
cheetah.
But this is the thing.
Exactly,
In soccer, in European soccer, they do that shit all the time. They be having like 17-year-olds go to the top league and they be scoring goals like
in European soccer, they've also had this person in their what's it called? They have an academy. They've had this person in their academy since they were 6 years old.
Yeah, and and I think that's what I don't know. I think that's what we should be doing
You
here.
think
Like,
that's what America needs?
Well, that's what we need to do as far as soccer is concerned. And football is a whole different case.
yeah,
Because think
a
about
contact
it.
sport.
In high school, class started at 8. You're in class from 8 to 3. Or you're in school from 8 to 3. Then you're doing all your extra stuff outside of that 5 days a week. You know what that nigga who is 30, who's been playing in the NFL for the past 8 years has been doing? Every day, all day. He has been, his livelihood is lifting weights, being in the film room, and being a professional.
probably.
You being 18, you are not physically or mentally capable of being able to jump to a professional level. Off rip.
Yeah, especially off of football, because that's just setting yourself up to getting killed, like literally.
Exactly. I mean, one thing that was, it wasn't a great. It wasn't executed great, but one of the one good thing was was NFL Europe. NFL Europe was basically like a minor league situation where it's like, okay, each NFL team had a NFL Europe affiliate where they could send players that they signed that they didn't think were able to cut it, go get them game speed experience, and get their skills up. Basically, like the minor leagues of the NFL. But at the time, the NFL Europe, football wasn't as big in Europe as it is now. So those teams were going bankrupt and they couldn't pay, So the league folded. Because one big player that came from NFL Europe was Kurt Warner. But that's just how, that's just how it goes. You have to what's the word? I'm looking for something. You have to take each of these sports on a case-by-case basis. Sports like soccer and football, soccer and baseball, you can have 18-year-olds show up on that level and do good things. It's possible. Because they're not as, person-to-person physical. They're still physical sports, but they're not like, it's you versus me on how hard you can hit. Let's go. It's more along the lines of, my bat's this good, your pitching's this good, what's up? And in soccer is, it's free flowing, it's a whole different type of deal. In football, you can't do that. You can't just take some 18-year-old offensive lineman and put him up against, 30-year-old defensive line. You can't take, the #1 offensive line recruit in this, in the 2019 class and put him up against a Vic Beasley or a Trey Flowers or something like that. Because that's not going to work. And at that point, if you're an NFL franchise, because you have such a short window with these players, you can only pay them for so much. You can't take that risk. So then all these kids who are 18 years old who are like, I'm not going to college because I'm going to be in the pros. Okay, when you don't get drafted, what's your next option?
That's what I think. I don't know. I think it should be 4 years. I don't know about that one and done shit.
Well, are you talking about for like college basketball?
That's in basketball, yeah.
All sports. Why not get the experience?
Well, the one and done is only in college basketball. 2 and done is in baseball. All the other sports are minimum 3 years.
I think you should be able to play your whole. I mean, you should be able to stay in the college for 4 years, no matter what sport it is. Like you said, so what happens when shit falls to shrink? You all have shit out of luck.
Well, that's why like college scholarship, but that's why like when you go to college and you have a scholarship, you're guaranteed 4 years as long as you meet certain requirements like academically and all that stuff. So you have the time to do that. You have the 4 years. But the thing is, if after 3 years you're projected to go in the first round of the NFL draft, 8 out of 10 kids are going to be like, let me go ahead and start making this money, or at least give myself a chance to make this money. And then I can get my education later on. Because think about it. If you've been on scholarship for 3 years at this university, right? That's 3 years that have been paid for. When you sign your first contract, you can go ahead and set aside whatever money you need to finish your degree.
True.
And boom, take care of that. Now, it might take you 2 or 3 years to finish that last year just because of the time you have to put into your team and everything once you get drafted, but you can still take care of that.
True. And that's another thing I was also talking about. I was also thinking that the college students should be able to get paid too. I know they get scholarships. I think that all that should be taken out, and they should get like a certain amount each check each month.
Especially all the money they be making off of these kids, like it's
a few million off one game.
They be making crazy money off these kids.
That's my opinion.
So y'all think college players should be paid?
Yeah.
They should get paid. That's the only reason they jump. Like you just said, they jumping that fast because they gonna get. If you saying I can make it first round and go make this money, why not just leave school and go make that money?
That's true though, because I mean, I get it. Yeah,
I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, I'll go to college for a year, and then a year I'm like, okay, I can say I went to college, but at the same time, I'm over here making $80 million a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm only 18 years old. Who else doing it better than me right now?
Exactly. And then you get the experience, and then you can make even more money at the end of the 4 years. That's my opinion. That's why I was like, I'm thinking at the end of the 4 years, they should actually play the whole 4 years while getting paid at school. Get the experience and then jump and go. Cause the one that does ain't doing nothing. Shit, like we ain't gonna be able to see Zion play no more. Not at this type of level.
Yeah, but this is America.
This is America.
We ain't gonna get everything we want.
Well, I mean, going back to real quick, just to paying the players. I completely agree. I think we should pay all collegiate athletes because basically playing the sports now is taken away from the time that they could be having, you know, a job that makes them money or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Where when we were all like when we were in college and stuff like that, we could set aside time to have a job. Their sport is their job. Now the main argument against that is, yeah, you know, football and basketball are the two big money makers in college athletics. So the schools that don't make that much money off of those two sports because they're not very good, what do? Or, you know, when you have like Duke, who's fantastic at basketball, they're okay in football. What do you do with the gymnastics team? What do you do with the rowing team? What do you do with the women's soccer team? Like those branches that don't make all the money, how do you get them paid fairly? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the big thing as far as paying the athletes go. That's what the big arguments are. It's not like about paying them or anything. It's about how do we pay everybody, quote unquote, evenly. How do we make sure everybody's getting a slice?
I mean, shoot, if you got basketball bringing in a couple mil, or football bringing in a couple mil a game, they should be set differently from, like you said, gymnastics and stuff. They're not bringing in that much. I mean, they're not bringing in that much. I don't think they should be able to complain about why is the person on the basketball team making more than I am. He's bringing in more.
But then that comes down to the argument of, so you're saying that person's skill set is more important or more valued than mine? Because in all honesty, like watching like some gymnasts do their thing, like on a balance beam or on the floor, I'm like, yo, that's some wild shit right there. Like they are equally as talented as a Zion Williamson or a Cody White or, you know, anybody like that. But because people aren't paying that much to go see an Olympic sport, which, you know, is those what they call like non-revenue makers, like, or like you, like that's not fair in essence. Yes, you know what, Duke basketball or Carolina basketball for a home game makes, you know, $1.5 million. Let's just say, I'm sure that's a gross underestimate. Whatever, this for the sake of it. Out of that $1.5 million, the coaches' salaries aren't a part of that because that's getting paid by the university itself. The concession stand folk, I'm sure, getting paid a bit off of it, but that's different too.
You know,
Basically,
that's okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go.
So basically, how many people are on a college roster? What, 15? Okay, so your top recruits, your star players are going to get paid more than the guys who play a minute and a half a game. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that out of that, let's just say $1 million, out of the $500,000 is going to, you know, upkeep, for the players specifically. Out of that $1 million, you can't pay the basketball players, and let's say the women's game that happened the day before that only had a quarter of the stadium full, or like a lacrosse team, well, not Duke lacrosse because they have a name for good and bad reasons, the soccer teams, the baseball team. You're telling me that these sports can't help get paid off of that money? Now, of course, I'm not saying like, okay, everybody's getting paid $50,000 for their season off top. Like, you have to find a way to split it up fairly, but you have to. The sports that don't, because the team, like the sports that make all the money, you have to pay for a ticket separate. You know, okay, so I went to Central. Dre went to UNC Charlotte. Rob, Tay, where did y'all go to school, like college at, if you did, or what?
No college. I was just high school.
Okay.
A&T.
Riverside.
Okay, so me and Tate both went to HBCUs. I know at my school, part of our tuition was basically all athletic functions. They took it out of part of our tuition was paying for athletics. Straight up. Like paying for our access to the athletics. So when, basically when it came time for a game, all we had to do was swipe our card. Now there are certain games like when we played A&T, because I went to Central, when we played A&T or, big games and stuff like that, we had to pay to get into.
Mm-hmm.
But in essence, that was our way of paying for it. So
you had to pay for it.
I had to pay for certain games. I had to pay for certain games or certain events because they were more lucrative for the school.
But even if so it was in your tuition that you had to.
So as an
Part
example,
of the tuition went to the sports. That's what you're telling me.
Exactly. So as an example, out of my tuition, there was like $400 or $500 a semester that went to sports, that went to athletics. That $500 a semester got me access to any basketball, football, softball. Tennis was free because it was just on campus. Basically, all these sporting events, all I had to do was swipe my student ID, I got in. The only times that didn't work was when we played A&T, or if we had some other big name coming into our basketball, football, like stuff like that.
They knew they was
like
gonna make
the
money
bigger
off
money,
of.
the bigger money makers, I had to pay out of pocket for on top of what's already being charged to me as a student. So in essence, it's the same thing. You're telling me that Duke and Carolina can't pull in enough money to pay their players on all of their varsity sports?
No, it's not. That wouldn't be right. That's like saying that the salesman on the car show floor, he makes all the sales and the janitor get his part too. Oh, he's not taking my money. I made all this money. I helped make all this money. Why would the janitor get my help? Why would I help pay the janitor his part? He should get something, but he ain't getting part of my money. No.
Okay, so to use your example is this: you as a salesman sell a car, right?
Yep.
Say you sell that car for $25,000.
Okay.
You know how much it took that car to produce? Let's just say 16 to be quote unquote safe.
Okay.
So the dealership's already making what, $8,000-$9,000 markup off of that?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say you work at a Toyota dealership. The Toyota dealership only got that for 8 G's, and it's a brand new car. So they're making a markup off of that. You're getting your piece off of that car.
Uh-huh.
But the money that it's the same thing. Like if you go to, if Walmart or something like that had salespeople, right? Something that you buy for $1 at Walmart only costs $0.25 to make.
Uh-huh.
That 75 cents is where Walmart makes their money.
Yeah.
It's the same principle with a car dealership. The car dealership makes their money off of marking up what they get it from the dealership. And the dealership makes their money off the mark off of where they get it manufactured at. So in essence, every time you sell a car, you are paying for that janitor. You are paying for the people who wash the cars and, drive them around a lot and stuff like that. That is you.
But they have to get paid. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying it's not.
No, you're not. You're not paying for it out of your pocket, but you are paying for it. Because if you don't sell, guess what? If you don't sell cars, the dealership doesn't make money, which means they have to let people go. And you know who the first people to go are?
Sales.
The janitors, the people who the people who wash the cars, the people who do the upkeep. They can't let go of the salespeople because the salespeople are what drives the business.
But if they don't make their sale, then they gotta reduce the costs somehow.
Exactly.
It's the
So if
margin
you
on
haven't, so if you have an off month, or if you have, let's just say you have an off 3 months, right? All of a sudden, you're not getting you get called into an office and you get told if you don't get your stuff together, then guess what? You're out. But guess what? 2 guys who worked on a cleaning crew at night have already been let go. They need to keep you around because you're the one who makes the money. It's the same principle. Duke basketball is the ones who make the money. The gymnastics team, okay. So I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you the full example of something, right? So y'all know the University of Maryland, right? Like the Terrapins, the ones who were in the ACC but left to go to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
You know why they left? Dre, okay.
Why they leave?
Okay, they left because since they were a founding member of the ACC, basically they signed a contract. The contract that they signed wasn't paying them enough to be able to pay for all these other sports. There were a lot of stories before they left the ACC talking about this year they cut this varsity sport, they cut these 2 varsity sports. Basically, they were having to cut costs to save money in order to keep the football team, the basketball team, the baseball teams, all these bigger revenue streams going. The Big Ten offered them a more lucrative contract so that they could keep these smaller sports going. Maryland's biggest problem was, which is why they had all that stuff in the courts, their problem was they were a founding member of the ACC. So because of that, they had a contract that was different than a Virginia Tech or a Syracuse or a Louisville or somebody like that who just came into the conference at a later date. If you're a founding member of something, you have much stricter rules and stuff like that. So that's why Maryland went to court, that's why Maryland left, and that's why Maryland signed with the Big Ten. Because they didn't want to lose all these non-varsity sports, or they didn't want to lose all these non-revenue sports because it's part of the university. It's, you know, so it's stuff like that. So when
so just
I understand.
Like, you're supposed to pay them millions and all of they're not bringing in millions.
You're all part of the same family.
True that.
So I mean, it's okay. So going back to that, it's like, okay, so say you have a stay-at-home wife. Are you going to expect her to pick up a job and start bringing in money, or if you told her like, look, you can stay at home, you all of a sudden things start going bad, you know, I don't know. It's a tough situation to kind of like explain.
Yeah.
And because honestly, where I'm coming from, everybody has their own wants. Everybody has their own desires. Everybody has things that they're good at. Again, they're taking money away from people who are equally good at their job as somebody else is. Because think about it. Zion only has to play 1 year of college basketball before he goes and makes money in the pros, right? What does a gymnast have? Gymnasts will compete for school for 4 years. Hopefully, maybe, most likely not, they'll make an Olympic team. And you know where most Olympic athletes make their money from?
Where?
Endorsements.
Yeah.
That's true.
They don't make money for being able to compete. They don't make money from competing. They make money from endorsements, and then when they get too old to compete, they have to coach.
You better pick a different sport.
Well, how
Okay,
that's the
cool.
only thing they
Sure.
know, really.
Yep.
True that.
So if you
Because Zion knew when he was 3 years old that he was going to play basketball, right?
True,
That's not how it
they
works.
doing something they love.
Well, no.
Right.
What he's saying
so what
is,
if what they love
let's
is
say-
what they love is gymnastics.
Right.
That's what they're great at. That's what they're fantastic at. But guess what? They only get to put that on display really for once every 4 years, and that's if they're afforded the chance to. How many gymnastics competitions are anybody watching, even if they could get into it for free?
Not me.
Exactly. So that's
My high school had a gymnastics like club team, and nobody went to go see that. I knew people on it, but nobody went to go see it besides parents, really.
nobody cared about it.
So, but that ain't nobody's fault. Nobody, if it's not a popular sport.
Okay, Rob. So it's like this: if you were good at basketball, right, and you went to college and played basketball, but you didn't make the pros, and somebody say, well, you should have played football, but you never picked up a football a day in your life. Never. How would you feel?
That I didn't make it to the pro, or that somebody told me to go to the
No, let's say so let's say you went to UNC and you was on that basketball team, right? And you did not make the pros, like you wasn't drafted or anything. You just some people careers just peak at college and they just stop and they disappear.
Yeah.
And let's say you was one of those people, and then you tell somebody that and they say, well, you should have played football. How would you feel? Even though you know you never picked up a football a day in your life.
Yeah, I want to do something I love.
But you love basketball, right?
Yeah.
But if someone's telling you that you shouldn't do what you love, you should do this instead, you feel some kind of way. You will feel like you still need to be, compensated for it.
Not as much as y'all thinking. Y'all thinking that these people deserve millions.
No. Hold on. Don't put those words in my mouth.
Not me. What I'm trying to say. You trying to say.
What I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is, if you say you're a gymnast, right? So the best, there's a few like really good gymnast programs in the NCAA, Georgia, UCLA. Who else? Who else is good? There's a couple of those that are like really good. But they still don't bring in that money. Like, people will go see them, but they still don't bring in the money that a Georgia football or even a UCLA football, even as bad as it's been for the past decade and change, will bring in. All I'm saying is, you have to like I said, fairly compensate. I'm not saying like, okay, if these basketball players are getting like 40,000, for their season, that a gymnast gets 40,000. What I'm saying is, these athletes need to get paid enough to be able to actually like live. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, as a part of their scholarship, they get, let's say, 3 meals a day at the cafeteria, right? Well, in their off season, they don't have access to X, or let's say they don't have access to XYZ. They have to make money in order to be able to pay for food, or things that they want to do, or things that they have to do. Because the school's not gonna. So the school's not paying for them to go back home. Say something happens, and they have to go back home. You know who's not paying for that? The school. And if they don't have any money, guess what? You're just gonna tell them that they ass out? Because guess what? It's an NCAA violation in order to pay for that athlete to get a plane ticket home when their grandmother died.
What?
Yeah.
They treat their star players like crap.
Like, there are coaching staffs that have gotten in trouble because this happened about 3 years ago. But a player's like grandmother died, right? And he was like, I have to go home. And one of the assistant coaches was like, I'll pay for the ticket. And he's like, you can stay on my couch and then I'll take you to the airport in the morning. That coach got fired because of that, because of the NCAA. The NCAA as itself, the NCAA is a machine that doesn't know what to do with everything that it has, so it tries to do too much.
It's crooked, man. Crooked.
That's ridiculous.
That is, but that goes back to, okay, but this was a guy on a football team of a university. The people that you like that you were talking about, like, they need to get the money. Okay, cool. Guess what? They don't even have the autonomy to do something that simple. To be like, hey, I'm sorry about your loss. Go take care of your business.
That's crazy.
So now somebody who's on the swimming team, which again, now what I'm also saying is this: not every school has a gymnastics team, not every school has swimming. The small universities don't have those options because they can't afford it.
So,
But your big schools, like your Carolinas, your Dukes, and stuff like that, who make the kind of money to have these extra universities, that have these extra sports, have the extra income. Why can't they pay for these? Why can't they pay for this? You know where all that extra money is going to? All that extra money is going to the president's pockets, the athletic director's pockets, and the NCAA's pockets.
so do y'all think like some schools are paying some players under the table? Like, do y'all feel like? And
Every
I
school
say
does
it.
it.
So do y'all feel
Yeah.
like y'all feel like Coach K is paying Zion under the table?
No, I'll tell you. So, there's an article that I'm gonna send to y'all. It talks about bagmen, and a bagman is basically somebody who who doesn't work for the university, but he works in the interests of the university. So if you want this 5-star kid, I'll go talk to him, and he'll find out what it's going to take for him to get, to come to XYZ university. And
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
in
because
Zion
basically
case,
there's
I want to know what
rich
took.
boosters. There's rich boosters that will pay whatever it takes in order to make Duke basketball #1.
Yeah, yeah. When you send that link, I gotta see that.
Who works,
'Cause,
but they also work independently of the university. That's how it doesn't get caught. That way it doesn't come back to them. The NCAA will be like, oh, well, this person did this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, we officially have never spoken to this person. They're doing it on their own accord.
I feel like that partially happened with Zion, and I ain't gonna lie. Cause in the beginning, like watching him in high school, his highlights, and he's always said he wanted to go to Carolina, which was weird, and then he ended up at Duke. Which I'm grateful for it. I'll take it. We'll take it at Duke. But originally, I mean, he wanted to go to Carolina out of his own mouth. So that's why I feel like he's getting paid under the table somewhere.
Well, but it's also like, but it's not even just that one, like that one specific example. Sure, but it's like, do y'all watch the 30 for 30s on ESPN?
Not often. I only see one episode.
Okay, well, there's one that y'all need to go see. It's called Pony XS. I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore or not, but it's called Pony XS. And it talks about the SMU football team in the 80s and the late 70s, early 80s. And how they had buku talent. And everybody was like, well, how are they getting this talent? And basically, it was people paying players. And what happened was the NCAA was able to trace it back from these people who paid the players back to the athletic department and the football team in particular. And they were able to hand down punishment or whatever. But that's how it works. There's a Duke alum who has the money to pay this guy. He goes to him. He's talking about what is it going to take for you to get to come to Duke University? The player tells him if he can make it happen, he makes it happen, and if the player agrees to it, boom. That's how they end up at XYZ University. I mean, every school pays players. Every major university pays players. That's just how it works. That's how the system works. You can think that your program is you can think your program is squeaky clean. It's not. Every program cheats to bring players in, and every program cheats to keep players to get players in and keep players in. Because if we're talking about keeping players in, we also have schools that we can talk about with that as well.
And what schools are they?
The most recent one is Missouri. There was a tutor who basically they didn't get paid, and they went to the NCAA to talk about, well, I did this, that, and the third for these players and this program, da 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 da. But we can also talk about, Carolina and its fake classes and all that stuff too. The only thing that Carolina did that was smart in that situation was making it available for everybody. Most schools only do it for their athletes. Carolina was like, in order to keep the heat off of us, we're going to make it available for everybody. So everybody can get an underwater basket weaving course credit if they really want it.
Easy credit right there.
But that's what all universities do. Because guess what? We've all been in high school. We all know people who are really good athletes, but their books, they weren't smart.
That's true. That's true. I know
If they
plenty.
can't make it if they can't make it in high school, how the hell are they gonna make it in college?
That's true.
So what do universities have to do? Universities have to find a way to keep them enrolled, and that's either by somebody doing all their work for them having deals with teachers, something like that. That's just how this cookie crumbles.
That's true. I know. Yeah. In essence, it's just you really just playing the game because even like with some kids that wasn't even in sports, I felt like I get what you're saying because some kids that went to some schools just because they wanted to go and they was cool with like the counselor and stuff. So I've seen kids that went to my high school that could have only gotten into like they had bad GPA, so they could only get into like a private school or something. Then they go to a big name school.
Ivy League school.
Well, not necessarily an Ivy League school, but like I know some people that shouldn't even went to college that went to like Howard and stuff that I went to school with.
Sheesh.
And it's all who you know who give you the credits. And then it's the same as like in college. It's all like you just bribe them.
Money talk, bullshit walk.
Pretty much.
There's a picture on Facebook saying Jennifer Lopez got all the Infinity Stones like Thanos. That shit fucked up.
Jennifer Lopez. What did she do?
She got engaged with A-Rod.
Oh, okay. Y'all gotta inform me because I've been on social media for like a week now.
She got engaged. This is like her fifth engagement.
Fifth?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to give up by the third, Shawty.
So the second one would have been my done.
First one. It didn't work. Alright, I'm out.
Shit, like that's me. Like if I get married,
another time, but that's it.
if I get married or divorced, it'll be highly unlikely to get married a second time. Like,
I don't know about all that.
I don't know, but it just be highly.
Charles gonna keep trying.
I'm not. This is what I'm saying. Divorce rates are extremely high because people rush into stuff. They don't know all the, XYZs about their partner. Da 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 da. But the thing is, people have hope, and people are stupid. People
just say, oh, what did you just say about hope?
So which
people
one?
exactly.
Which one you
Hope
think J-Lo
poisons
got?
men's soul.
Which one you think J-Lo got?
J-Lo here, man. J-Lo just has to play it.
J-Lo got the juice. Who wouldn't get engaged to J-Lo? Let's be honest.
I would. I definitely would.
Let's be honest.
I'm not going to sit here and lie.
It's a reason why she's been engaged for 5 times.
But this is what I'm saying. But it's like, as far as that's concerned, you think you can do it better the next time. So when you think you found that perfect somebody again, you're going to try it. And then it doesn't work. And then you're like, all right, cool. I've been through this twice
5
again.
times? Oh, I ain't doing it.
Rob says she need to give it up.
So, what? Third time's a charm?
Shit, what happened the other 2 times after that?
I don't know, man. See, I feel like I would get married at a very, not old age, but probably like mid-30s.
Well, that's not old.
Yeah, that sounds like my uncle. Basically, you can get married whenever you want to.
I mean, my grandmother got married and at 65, so Yeah, like it's possible.
So, I mean, he's, but she was married before that, right?
Yeah.
So she got married before 65.
Okay, but I mean, she got married before she was
I mean,
65.
yeah, she was married before, yeah.
Yeah. If you get married, if you first time get married at 65, I'll be honest, I wouldn't even waste my. I wouldn't even got married. Yeah, I wouldn't get married at 65. It's a dub.
Yeah, at that point, at that point it's kind of a wrap.
But if she got married before, then I could see. But like if it was your first, it's like it's a dub. I'm finna like push daisies in like 15 years.
If you're lucky, 15 years.
You might get cursed and live to be like 100.
Oh, I do not want to do that. I don't know if people think that's a blessing. Goddamn blessing.
Well,
I mean, if you're healthy,
certain circumstances.
Yeah, if you're healthy, I mean, your
no,
vision.
I don't care about being. I can be completely healthy, but everybody you known and grew up with, and all your friends and family.
That's I will say that at that point it's like, I just want to be. Well, but
you also get to see how stuff evolve.
Exactly, and you also at that point, if you live to see 100 and you have family, like if you have children, they are going to expand your family, and you will be able to see that.
Yeah.
So where the people that you grew up with and you've known for 40, 50 years, yeah, they might be gone, but you'll be able to kind of, in essence, kind of balance that out with, oh, you know what? My best friend might be dead, but I have this new great grandchild, and I know what the parents are, and you can kind of, in essence, almost balance that out.
So imagine seeing your son's grandkids.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, right. And you got to say, and you can actually say you stood the test of time.
I don't know. My personal.
Now it'll suck because
I don't like to guess the age of when I'm going to decease.
True. That's what my old lady keep asking when we go to one of them psychics. I said I don't want them to tell me nothing that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know the future.
Yeah, I don't want to know when I'm gonna like die or nothing. I just want it to happen.
I just want a good, decent life, like good long.
It happens.
Nah, they ain't.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out that I'm damn finna die like at the age of 35 and I'm 25, so it's like 10 years to live.
Or
I always saw myself dying early.
I ain't got time for all that.
You say you always seen yourself dying, Chaz, early?
Yeah, I did, honestly, because like, you know how people be like, oh, I see myself growing old with somebody, I really never had that.
Now watch Chaz.
I saw myself dying in like the mid-50s.
Nah, watch Chaz outlive us all by like 20 years.
And you know what? And that would probably be my great curse. Chaz, everybody dies happily with their family in their like, 60s, and I'm here by myself in my fucking 97 and just be like, yep, sounds about right.
Yeah, your vision all, your hearing all fucked up, your vision all fucked up.
Can't enjoy shit. It's like, all right, cool. This has been fun, y'all.
You can't even taste the foods that you used to.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Chaz can't even taste his
That's why I'm so angry. Then they make a movie about me, and it's like,
you probably be the old senile one.
He was the most angry old man, but he had a soft side to him, and then it's like the Purple Book, and it's like, no, don't make my life a movie. Fuck this.
Y'all know the oldest World War II vet was like a black guy, and he was still like driving. He was still driving, smoke cigars.
Yep. Bro, that dude was living life, yeah.
Well, he not alive no more. He died like last year. But
yeah, but he probably wanted to die. Like, yo, I'm done with this shit.
No,
I done seen my friends die and all that shit.
At a certain age, you ready to go to the other side.
Well, no, he was just, but he was happy because he was like, he was happy because he saw like I mean he in his eyes
He saw a black president.
Yeah, and he was like I mean basically what he was saying was what today is wouldn't have been this way if he had not went to like Germany and fought the Germans, the Nazis and shit.
Yeah.
So I mean he looked at it like
I see.
yeah, he was like he saw he got to reap the benefits of him going to Europe and getting shot and surviving and you know.
So he survived the war just to see how the world actually turned out after he survived. Yeah, that's all right, but still, no, not for me. I'd be good with a good decent age, as long as I get up.
So what's a good decent age for you, Rob?
70. Well, it ain't even got to be a good decent age. It got to be to a point where I have left my mark on my kids, so they can pass it on to the next.
Technically speaking, you could leave your mark on your son right now.
No, not really. He ain't gonna. He's still childish.
He won't understand.
When he get to a certain age, yeah, exactly. He won't understand it. So he get to a certain age, he'd be like, okay, I know why he's doing that.
Right, but he won't understand it until he get older. Some stuff you don't understand until you get older. So technically speaking, you still leaving your mark on your son. He just not gonna understand it until he get older.
I wanna actually tell him.
I don't know. My thing is, I always wonder like, I don't ever wanna like outlive my kids though, cause yeah.
You want to bury your kids?
No, I don't want to. Like that'd be weird.
Oh.
I seen them come into the world, and then I seen them exit. That'll mess with
me. Yeah.
You might as well put me in a body bag.
Yeah, that'll mess with me, cause.
See, that's one thing. I don't want to see my mom go, but she always be telling me, yeah, I don't want to outlive my kids.
Well, when you have kids,
you have to. I'll say you have to, as a child, you have to understand that like you're supposed to outlive your parents.
Yeah, you're supposed to. And then when you have kids, you have to. You understand that you don't want to see you don't want to bury your kids.
Yeah.
You don't want to see your mom go because that's what you know, and I get it. But you also have to understand like which would hurt more, you having to bury your mother or your mother having to bury you.
Yeah.
I guarantee she would want it the other way.
I'll say she know, but this is the thing, because guess what? She can, in essence, prepare you for her leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't prepare her for you.
You can do nothing to prepare her for somebody that for a body that she held in herself for a minimum of 9 months. Right. Watch you grow, helped mold you into a person. And then you're telling me, and then you're going to tell her like, yeah, no, bye.
That's selfish.
Like, I'm prepared for it. I mean, I definitely would definitely am going to be seeing a lot more years with her, but when I get older, I'll be prepared for that. But yeah, I definitely try to take care of myself so I wouldn't have her hurt where she got to bury me and that shit would suck.
Yeah, well, you're on the right path.
But hey, circle of life, death comes in all forms.
Yep, it does.
Can't stop it. Can't do nothing about it.
Answer.
Yep. Life's great though. It's fun. Fantastic. Oh yeah, every day's a blessing. Even when it doesn't seem like it.
It's a blessing to be here, talking on the podcast with the boys.
On a lighter note, I think they moved to impeach our president.
Oh, they didn't talk about that for 3 years.
No, they haven't.
No,
they
it's not gonna happen. That would be worse if he get voted again in 2020.
His term is almost up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
He
thing
signed his
was-
first veto the other day.
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard about it. The thing was he vetoed fucking impeaching his ass.
No, he vetoed he wanted to go into a state of emergency because they wouldn't sign off on his border wall. So he was like, all right, well then I'll just go to Congress to get it passed in, and then Congress and the House of Representatives was like, nah fam, this shit's not gonna go down like that. And he was like, all right, cool, well y'all don't see it like that, I'm just gonna veto it and we're gonna do that shit anyway. So basically, yeah.
He got what he wanted.
Let me ask y'all then. Let's
Exactly,
get into some politics.
but this is the thing. But this is the thing. And if you do it by like putting it to a vote and people pass it, it's a lot easier for people to digest than just being like, yeah, we're gonna do it this way. I mean, think about it. Like, you know, Dre and Rob, y'all have significant others. If you ask them like, hey, where do you want to go eat tonight, or what do you want to eat tonight? You know, that's gonna go over a lot smoother than being like, yeah, this is what we eating tonight.
Yeah.
That's the same principle, except on a larger scale. You know, it was basically like put up to a vote, like, all right, what are we gonna eat tonight? And everybody was like, nah, we don't want to eat Mexican food. And then the president was like, nah, we eat Mexican. It's like, that's not what we said.
So let me ask y'all, what y'all think about this little wall situation that he got going on?
It's dumb. It's a waste of
Not
money.
gonna work.
It's a waste of money. You know what we can do with that money?
I think it's a waste of
Give
money.
water to
but-
Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, that's true. I
Shit,
think it's
they
a lot of
they
things
took out a lot of money out the education shit, didn't they?
Well, that's Betsy DeVos. Betsy DeVos is trash.
Yeah.
For a wall. For a freaking wall, dude.
I think it's a waste of money, but to say
And it's not even gonna work.
it'll work because at the end of the day, Mexico gonna have to take their spanking from the U.S. regardless. They
See,
crawl
this
them
is
It's
walls,
not
thing.
gonna
they
work.
gonna-
It's
they
not
gonna-
gonna work
Most of
because
the-
what?
Most of
They'll
the
find a way
immigrants
around the
don't even
wall.
come from. Most of the immigrants don't even come from Mexico, and if they did came from Mexico, it probably wouldn't be crossing the damn border.
No, a lot of them do come from Mexico, but I understand why because a week ago, I think I talked to Chaz about it. I had these Hispanics give me some pesos, but they told me why they go back home and send money because our money is worth way more with it than it is, you know. So they have a choice. Like this one guy was like, "Yeah, I went over there and gave my grandmother enough rent money to pay for like the rest of the year." But in American money, it only costs $400, so it was nothing. So I get it. I get why they doing it. I get why they coming over here.
And then I can understand that another thing is that only reason he's doing it is because he said they should come over here legally. I mean, come over here the right way. It's just damn tank. I can understand that too.
And like,
I mean, but honestly, this is the thing. So there are a lot of people who come over here legally, whether it be from Mexico or all around the world. There's a lot of people who come over here legally, but the thing is, like, so people get a work visa, right? And the work visa will be for like 3 years, but then they stay past that 3 years. You know what they are now? An illegal immigrant.
That's true. That's true.
So what happens is, but people want to harp on the Mexican illegal immigrants because, well, they're our neighbor, and that's the popular thing right now.
And they know they just gonna have to take the spanking.
But it's like, but basically, it's. I'm trying to think about how I want to say this.
Take time. Take time.
The illegal immigration is. It's been
a
misreported.
Yeah.
But it's also been misreported because honestly, there was a lot of illegal the reason that it's such a problem now is because of policies that the Trump administration has put into play.
Yeah.
Obama stopped a lot, and his administration stopped a lot of illegal immigrants at the border. But what he decided to do was not stop families from being with each other.
That's true.
He decided that, okay, everybody can just come in and we'll worry about the rest later. Trump is like, no, fuck it. We gonna keep the kids here and kill them all and let God sort them out. And that's not the type of mentality you need to have.
I don't care about nobody but his damn self.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
That, and I think
Immigration and illegal immigration
Mexico.
has not been. This isn't a new problem to the United States. Hasn't been for
Decades.
a 100 years.
Yeah. But I think Trump just think he can bully Mexico just because they're Mexico.
Trump thinks he can bully anybody just because of who he is, and that's not the case.
But it's only allies that he think he can bully. Though. That's my thing. Like he ain't over there bullying Russia and them.
He can't bully Russia because one, he likes Vladimir. He likes Putin.
That's the
His
problem.
wife
And
from there.
no, his wife
His
is from
wife
one of the
Russian?
others. His wife is from one of the other bloc states.
Hey, look, hold on. Speaking of Russia, I know this off, but I just found out. I did not know Putin served like 5 terms. I didn't know that. I did not know
Yeah,
that. So,
he's basically a dictator.
and everybody
Yeah.
that tries to run up against him gets killed. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah,
That is a bad man.
yeah. He is.
I mean, I ain't got no problems with him. I mean,
He
'cause
said,
I mean, look,
Dre's like, I opened up a book for the first time in this past week.
nah,
And
somebody
that
told me
shit
about
crazy.
it. It's like
That shit wild.
I ain't got no problems with Putin. Like he seemed like a cool dude. That's the thing. Like he just so laid back. Listen.
Yeah, he's laid back because everybody has to do what he says.
I like him, bro. I ain't gonna lie. My man, like, look, you ain't taking shit.
Hey, if you don't like him, you got to be
First off, he ain't
somehow
got,
getting in the car accident.
Nah, he ain't got nothing to do with me over here. I can say fuck him all day, but I like him.
Alright. Jerry, we know if you end up mixing, we know why.
He ain't got no pull over here.
No, if Dre ends up on like, if Dre ends up in like a high seated position, we gonna know why.
Man, look,
Oh, Dre is the assistant to the minister of the Department of Defense. Okay, cool. We know why he got there.
I like Putin.
Here we go. See, he gonna pull this like, I like this Negro.
I mean, look, he my kind of guy, bro. My man, like, look.
His first Negro he ever liked in the whole.
I mean, bro, when I found that out, bro, I'm like, look, I do bad, bro. He like, look.
Can you not call me Negro? Okay, Negro. And it's like, all right, I guess I'm Negro then.
Bro, he like, y'all niggas ain't taking my
You know,
power.
there's other black Negro. It's like, all right, Putin.
And I ain't know it was black people in Russia. Bruh, look. I was doing my research a couple days ago. I did not know.
He'll probably
it
call
was
you
black-
like Charlie Brown or something.
Aside from the soccer players, I did not know. Nah. I did not know it was black people in Russia. I did not know they like black people. I mean, I don't know if they like black people, but I didn't know they even like live.
I mean, they really don't, but yeah, there's some.
It's like America don't like people.
No.
No, what? Please tell me. Racism.
I
I
was-
can't even imagine a black
I
person.
was just talking about this with my mother a couple days ago.
What, black people in Russia?
No, black people in general.
Bro, I did not know. They just don't
White
seem
people
like.
in Africa.
So what? That's Africa.
It's Chinese people in Africa.
It's Africa. It's the motherland.
They're slaves.
It's the motherland. But I didn't know that.
Shit.
That shit blew
What
my
you
mind.
saying, Chaz?
No, I was talking with my mother about. In essence, she was like, she never saw me as being black until Trayvon Martin got shot. You know, and that whole thing, yeah. Because she was like, basically, I didn't see you as being, black. I saw you as being my son. And it's like, okay, I get that. That's fine, mother, but I'm still a person of color in this world, so.
And
You know.
What race is your mother?
She's white.
Oh.
Obviously, if she said she didn't see him being black.
Well, I didn't know. I thought it was like
Well, she
something
ain't
else. I
black
don't know.
saying she don't see him as black, Tay.
But in essence, it's like you have to tell people, you have to teach people what's going on. Because if they don't live it, they don't understand it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
a white
I
person
got
is
you.
going to
I
understand.
got you. I got you.
A white person not going to understand the struggle that we go through.
That's true.
Yeah, facts.
That's true.
So you literally have to teach your own mother. Like, yeah, this the bullshit we deal with.
It's understandable. Well,
But yeah, so I mean, that's just how it works in essence. There are going to be people who don't understand, you know, what you go through, what you deal with, unless you tell them.
That's you ain't never lied.
And then when you tell them, they're not going to believe it. Some of them won't.
Yeah, I know some, but I don't know. It's just weird because like I ain't gonna say every white person is racist because I done met some people with damn Trump hats on and they be the nicest people.
what? Who you telling? People with Confederate flags in their yard and all.
But see, well, the Confederate flags, I ain't gonna say I get it, cause some people just feel like it's part of the Southern heritage.
Mm-hmm.
But cause like I mean we in the South, so I mean it's one of the flags that's always been here. So they feel like yeah, my great grandfather had that, so I'ma have it. But like some people with the Trump hats on, they know what he stand for. They obviously support it. But then they'll see you know, a person of color and they're like, oh, how you doing? And then they be the nicest people ever. Now, behind closed doors, I don't know if it's just in public, but when they meet me one-on-one, they so nice. They just like, yeah, you have a good
I
day,
ain't never
sir.
met a Trump supporter face to face.
Really?
Hell no.
Oh, I
Okay,
know a
cool.
couple in my job.
I done met plenty of them. But they're not all like, some of them are assholes, don't get me wrong. But most of them are like,
Like, yeah,
down to earth.
most
Y'all
of
really
most of
have
the Trump
conversations with them?
supporters.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, because at the end of the day,
most
I'm
of
at
Trump
work and I
supporters
still
I
have to
know.
talk to them.
True that.
Yeah, most of the Trump supporters I know, they're really just good people. I ain't gonna, like, they're good people. They just ignorant sometimes, like when it comes to policies and shit. But
Well, their political views don't necessarily make them ignorant. It's just what they.
I just feel like they be well the dude I'd be talking to, he just be making some ignorant points. Like this dude loves Trump. Like
And that's okay, I guess, for some people.
I
Cause
mean,
I mean,
like it don't change anything. Like if
no,
you
because
go to
I mean,
Trump, like
at the end of the day,
I still like.
people love Hitler, and he was a bad person overall. So I mean, people have their followers.
Like it. Okay, this is where I put the line. Like if you have some sort of resemblance of support to Hitler, I might have to be like, hell nah, like you crazy dog. Fuck that.
Trump is Hitler, just in a modern day.
Why you feel like that? He ain't got no concentration camps around here.
He did keep the
I
kids
don't
from
know.
their parents.
Huh?
He did keep the kids from their parents. He can't build concentration camps. It's illegal.
I
They
mean,
really get demolished. I'm talking modern day. He's a modern day Hitler. The way his views is, he don't want what he said. Make America great again. Was America great again? When was America ever great? In his eyes, when was it ever great?
when we won World War II, when we went against Hitler.
It wasn't great for us.
We won, didn't we?
It was not.
I'm talking about as a
It
culture.
was never
No,
great for
any
us.
other culture but him. It wasn't great for nobody. It wasn't
I
great
don't
for
know.
America.
I mean,
We just learn how to survive day by day.
yeah. mean,
Animals in a cage.
you can compare him, I guess, to a modern day Hitler. To an extent.
Yeah, that's it. To
I
a
can't
modern
really
day,
compare
like,
Trump. Trump is just, I don't know what
he's
he
just a
just.
big baby.
No, he just Trump. I feel like I don't know what I can't. He his own. He's something else. I will say
Every
that.
day is always something. I be like, man, this nigga did what? Man, he's still in this motherfucking chair.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't get it. I don't get it.
He do speak his mind, though. I mean,
What social media and all? Like, ain't nobody gonna take this man's phone?
my man what did he recently do? My man went to Vietnam and told North Korea, look, y'all niggas giving up these missiles. At some point, just know your little ass giving them up.
You putting the rest of us in danger. Like,
Right. He said he don't give a damn.
he gonna be good. He gonna be good in his little White House or whatever he got going on. You know what I'm saying? His family's set.
He said
The rest of us going to goddamn take a hit. It's gonna hurt.
he said he'll give a damn. He said, look, Rocky man, you giving up your missiles at some point.
So yeah, it's
One
just
day.
crazy.
And if you don't, we gonna whoop your ass.
Then he said, "What? We got a? What he said? We got a."
Then
a
my nigga
bomb
looked
or
at
something.
China and Russia with and was like, y'all ain't gonna do a damn thing when we whoop their ass.
Then he said we had something to mass destruction, some missile. He said.
Well, yeah, I know that, man. I knew that from when Obama was in office. We got something that like.
No, but why would he say that though? Like that's.
I mean, but everybody knows Obama took it from.
He made a public threat. Obama did what?
Obama was the one that got it. I forgot where he got it from, but it's like this one little missile that'll like wipe out anywhere after they aimed it. We just ain't never used it. I think that's why he ain't scared of nothing, cause he know he hit that button, it's over. But I don't think he realized.
Yeah, you said they talking about I forgot how much money it was, but I see it on the news. It was like last month or something. They got some kind of money on Ben Salman. What's his name? Salman bin Laden son head.
I didn't even know he had a son.
Yeah, apparently he's the new leader.
But
Here we go.
Osama bin Laden probably got like 20 different kids that we don't even know about.
Hey, look, man.
I don't know why it took so long to find it, man.
What Afghanistan, right? Afghanistan.
But if I can look up,
They something else. I mean, they beat Russia in a war. They something else.
I don't know what it is over there. I want to know. It must be something crazy over there.
Well, it's oil
Iraq.
over there in the Middle East. Like, it's nothing but
I'm saying
oil.
though, like, for them to actually have all this, like, how do they blow down?
Well, we get them stuff also. Like, we sell them stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we sell them stuff. China sell them stuff. That's how they beat Russia in like the 70s when they went to war.
Let me get on my
Money.
conspiracy theories.
Money rules the world, man.
Yeah, Russia went over there at first, the same way we went over there, trying to take over, and then Russia failed. We didn't, but they got oil over there, so like if we can fully take over there, then gas prices will go down over here because we get our gas from over there in the Middle East.
I'll tell you this, like I was telling my old lady like a few days ago. I was like, for a country, for you to strap a bomb to your chest, and knowing that you ain't gonna never see your family again, and blow yourself up for
You gotta love your country.
Yeah, you got some serious hate. You got some serious hate for that country, just knowing that I'm gonna fuck you up.
Just
I'm
knowing
gonna
you might die in the process.
I don't think they do it for the country. They probably do it for like God and shit.
That's still a lot of hate. Yeah, I'm not doing it for God.
Yeah.
That's true.
God forbid. I still got my family to go home
I
to.
mean, I don't believe in a God that will be like, hey, go kill yourself, and a lot of other people, you know, to make them happy. I don't. That's not my God. Like y'all tripping. That's insane. That's craziness.
America. And I also believe America do a lot of dirty stuff under the table too for the people to go that
Oh,
crazy.
of course. Every country does.
I don't believe that. Oh, they just Iraq just wanna just do this because just because I
Nah,
believe America done
see,
pissed them off somehow.
nah, I
Nah,
think they just nah. Niggas be going rogue sometimes, and we just
how you gonna hate on a country for no reason?
no, cause originally
It's gotta be a
we the
reason.
ones that we the alpha and omega around here. Sometimes they be needing to damn be reprimanded. This was an interesting podcast.
Very deep.
Probably
Yeah,
crazy.
we
Listen,
also-
yeah.
Well,
All right, get up. 6 a.m. in the morning.
oh wow. Well, we had an hour and 46 minutes, so
Oh, shoot.
this is a long podcast, but we'll end it on this note. I'm your host, Drizzy Dre. Duke name. Duke gang. Duke gang. I had to end it on that note. Well, we'll be back at this, I guess, next week. Alright. Yes, sir.